Brea Olinda, the Lady Cats, leading St. Francis out of Sacramento. Here in Sacramento, we are inside Sleep Train Arena, the home of the Sacramento Kings, but they've been gracious enough here on this Thursday because they play tomorrow night and on Saturday to allow 6 championship games to be played each day, a total of 12. And here in game number 5 of the day, it's Brea Olinda, as we expected, 9-time champs behind Riley Richardson with the lead.
It's been a dominating performance, and it's not just Riley. It's been a team effort for Brea defensively as well. But the offense, it got rolling with Riley Richardson. She averages 22 points a game. She is going to Arizona State next season for a reason, because she can fill up the basket in a variety of ways, and she can also anticipate and use that length that she has. She's 5'10", she's crafty, and she has got her team off to a brilliant start. But, you know, if you look at Jeff Zink and his interview with Kelly, he wasn't too happy. I mean, he was happy to be hanging out with Kelly. Who wouldn't be, you know, happy about that? But he wasn't happy at all about their lead. He didn't seem impressed. Look at those numbers, though.
I know. I mean, 1 of 10 from 3, suffocating defense, 17% for St. Francis. They've turned it over 11 times. Here's Kelly with more.
I just spoke with Coach Pitton, and he told me we have to be a lot more patient. They've done a really good job of defending our half court. And in terms of Riley Richardson, he said we have to build a wall. We need to make things a lot tougher on her. She's just having all these free shots. We're not going to go one-on-one. We need to build that wall.
Thank you, Kelly. The largest lead of the game by Brea Olinda is 19. That's where we're at now, 31-12. And St. Francis, who's in white out of Sacramento, 29-5 season, playing their 4th game at Sleep Train Arena. They have the basketball first to start the second half of play. It's an all-female college prep high school that's right down the street from Sacramento State University. They started in the post. They've got to get Lauren Craig going, and a good start.
She is the Delta League Player of the Year. She is their leading scorer. She is their enforcer down low on both ends of the court. She took 1 field goal attempt in that first half. So it is obviously clear that head coach Victor Pitton went into the halftime. He probably had a few choice words, but one of the first things that we see, an air ball at the free throw line, was we got to get 24 the ball down low. It has to happen. I'm always curious to see what teams do in their first possession in the second half, because it tells you what the coach talked about offensively in the first in that halftime break.
And this is the leading scorer here for St. Francis, as she misses both. 17 points per game, a 4-year varsity player with 29 double-doubles in 34 games, and yet she had 1 field goal opportunity in that first half.
Missed both free throws, so still scoreless.
And you usually say, right, if to get your game going, get to the free throw line, and that ain't gonna help.
If you're a shooter or it doesn't matter. If you're a forward or center, if you're struggling, get to the free throw line and see one go in.
2 more for Richardson. Give her 16 points in 16 minutes on the floor.
She's even got the floater in her game. I mean, is there something that she doesn't do well on the offensive end? I would say, actually, we haven't seen her shoot threes, and she didn't make a 3 last Saturday. I believe she was 0 for 3 from deep. So that's maybe the one thing that she hasn't shown us.
Good pass, and that leads to a bucket. And that is the first made field goal for Lauren Craig.
And if you want to get open, oftentimes what you need to do is set a good screen. And it's oftentimes the screener that gets open.
Irie Jarrett misfires, and quickly down the floor, St. Francis. Unable to get the shot to go down was Kira Huffman, the senior. A lot of big performances in the regionals by the likes of Huffman and Craig and Hay. And with the exception of Hay, they've all been fairly quiet. Well, even Hay to this point, just 5 points in 16 minutes.
Oh, yeah, she's really struggled from the field. 2 of 13 in the first half, so obviously not her best half that she's having.
Richardson, comfortable from the outside there, buries the 3, and the lead is 36-14.
Do you think she hurt me? I was just talking about her 3-point shooting and how that's the last thing she hasn't shown us.
Hey, she tried that shot quite a bit on the other end of the first half. It finally goes down here.
She's a hard right-hand driver. I mean, she can finish with both hands, but she prefers to go right.
Well, Jeff Zink told Kelly, made a point to tell her that we're trying to get her to go to her left. Play off that left hand right there, and it worked. Richardson drives in and was grabbed on the drive in the lane.
Here's the screen, roll down, present yourself. And she's the tallest player on the floor. And I think Riley was like, oh, yeah, Casey, you don't think I can shoot threes? Watch this. And Tia with the nice response. This is the matchup that I was looking forward to most, the matchup between Richardson and Hay. And up until this point, it's been completely dominated by Richardson. But, look, we have, over 13 minutes of basketball left, and Tia Hay, she can get buckets in a hurry.
Brea Olinda as a team averages about 62 points per game. Where they play in Orange County, it's always a tough schedule. It's hard to score a lot of points down there. They were in the Southern Section Open Division. Actually lost twice in sectionals, but were placed in Division I, and that's a travel on a turnover for the state. So they got out of the Open Division, Division I for state, and here they are in the championship game. I don't know how I feel about that. You lose a couple of times in the Open Division, and I know it's the Open Division.
You have to do it that way, because if you don't give those teams who lose in the Open Division an opportunity to continue to play, then no one's going to want to compete against the top. So, it's the way it is, and I kind of like it. I don't know.
Hey,
wild play.
And from going through our notes, I thought there was somebody that lost like 3 times, for goodness sakes, between the section and the consolation games, and still found themselves here.
I don't think you can lose 3 times.
I'm trying to figure it out. If it maybe it just was this. We're doing 6 games here this weekend.
Yeah,
so
it gets confusing sometimes, folks. Right here, coming right into the living room, a wild shot, and she was actually bailed out right there. Poor defense. And was kind of lazy, putting her at the line. And isn't that what we just talked about? If you're a scorer like Tia Hay is, and you're struggling, go to the free throw line, get a couple buckets to go down, and it's still a 20-point lead, but at least you can start to feel good about yourself.
Hay has 9 points. Only 5 Troubadours have scored in the game. They're down 20 points now, almost halfway through this 3rd quarter of play here at Sleep Train Arena. Spotting up for a 3 outside and missing off the back of the rim is Jasmine Rochelle, a sophomore.
Rochelle's their best 3-point threat. Playing with fire if you allow her to step into an open one.
And a foul is called. Jasmine Rochelle got the personal foul here. That's her 3rd. St. Francis almost turning it over. Got the shortest commute of anybody here today, and a great drive, but unable to finish there is Julia Razzo.
We've had a couple roll off the rim close, too. Another beautiful pass.
Richardson inside to a cutting Tiana Watkins.
And Victor Pitton talked about building a wall to try and stop Riley Richardson. I don't see that wall anywhere. Lots of holes in the wall, and Richardson's passing the basketball right through it.
Hay was looking for an assist. Richardson has 21 points, 3 assists, and St. Francis turns it over. They had 11 of those miscues in the first half.
Look at her vision. She's got her head up the entire time. If you're a young girl and you're watching this broadcast, watch Riley Richardson take the ball up, and her head's up the whole time. I mean, she's looking to score herself, but if you don't have your head up, you can't see. If you get double teamed, you can't see any of your teammates open. Simple basketball gets it done.
In the middle of that zone, there's a spin move, and up with the left hand with the shot from Chrislyn Marsh, and she was fouled in the act of shooting.
In 1994, Brea won quote-unquote national title. I mean, they didn't have a national tournament, but I read a really interesting story about that in 1994. Their walk-on coach, John Haytrup, and by walk-on, I mean he was teaching PE classes, so he volunteered to just start coaching the girls' team, and Haytrup led the Wildcats. They were undefeated that year, and they won the state title, and they got to be ranked number 1 in the entire country. And then John Haytrup just decided, I'm done. I resigned. And his quote was, there's not much else I can do here. I love it. He coached 1 year and led them to possibly their best year in school history.
And there is a basket by Craig.
Oh, they got to have her be a part of this game.
The former Brad coach, he dropped the mic like Mr. Randy Watson did in Coming to America. He said, I'm out. And we will step aside here. By the way, they won 4 state championships in that era that you were talking about. 3:33 to go in the third. 21-point lead for the Wildcats.
You're here to buy a car. What would help is simply being able to recognize a fair price. That's never really been possible. But along comes a radically new way to buy a car called TrueCar. And now it is. TrueCar has pricing data on every make and model. So all you have to do is search for the car you want. There it is. Now you're an expert in less than a minute. This is how car buying was always meant to be. This is TrueCar.
Thank you, dear. You make me feel so young.
Pink young. Pass it on.
You make me feel so spring.
Brea-Olinda by 21, closing in on the 10th state championship in school history, which would rewrite the record books. Let's take a look at the state rankings here. Girls Max Prep state rankings, and St. Mary's was 28-0 and got taken out in the regional semifinals. Didn't even make it to the regional finals. They were trying to close in on 9 state championships, and there's Brea-Olinda at number 5.
Yeah, St. Mary's of Notre Dame, they lose a couple weeks ago to Pinewood. And huge upset, obviously. And so the second and third ranked team, Chaminade and Miramonte, will meet Saturday night in the open division. And what a gift for Miramonte. They ended up crushing Pinewood by almost 30 points. Yeah. They were preparing for St. Mary's of Stockton that whole week, and then they get Pinewood.
That was that little school. We'd always come up here every year. They'd be playing in the Division 5 championship. They stepped up to the open division and made it all the way to the regional finals.
Look, it's just another example to me, and I didn't need another example, that you don't play basketball on paper. You play it on the court. And we see it's March Madness, right, Steve? We're watching the NCAA tournament, and one team was Northern Iowa up 12 points with 44 seconds to go in the game and lose. Are you kidding me? So anything can happen. All right, I like rankings and I like when we show them, but do they mean anything? No, absolutely not.
Brea has the basketball, 3:18 and counting to go here in quarter number 3. They have led throughout. They have dominated, and they're not too far off from a 10th state championship, which would put them one behind the modern-day boys. Good passing and a basket inside. Tiana Watkins.
And what I liked about that play, Steve, is Richardson keeps the ball high. She passes it, and then Tiana Watson catches the ball and keeps it high. Quick post play. Love it. Very efficient.
Watkins now has 10 points. St. Francis needed that bucket. And Nicholas got it.
And anything they can get from her offensively is bonus. She averages 4 points a game off the bench, but she's a tough customer.
Richardson, open 3, had all the time in the world to think about it. There's a bump. Craig, the senior's going to pick up the personal foul there as she bumped Tiana Watkins. So the first championship for Brea-Olinda was in '89. The second one in '91. They run off 4 in a row, 91, 92, 93, 94 that you spoke of. Then they get it rolling again, 3 in a row from 98, 99, and 2000. Then they go 9 years without one, and 7 years now without one again here. But I think that drought's going to be broken here shortly.
They look so much better than when we saw them on Saturday. I mean, they won. They won against Vista Murrieta, but it was Richardson's free throws, kind of an ugly win. This has been much more beautiful. Look at the ball movement again. I mean, even though it's a miss from Richardson, they move the ball side to side. They share the basketball. Everybody's got a roll.
And last year when they lost to Bishop O'Dowd in that championship game at Haas Pavilion in Berkeley, you could tell that they were a little bit young. They were maybe a year away, and exactly what we thought. They were a year away. Bishop O'Dowd had some Division I talent. They took their lumps, and here they are back a year later in a different venue.
And they're going to be good next year, too. I mean, I mentioned 13 players on the roster that are freshmen or sophomore. However, you're getting a look at an up-close look at Riley Richardson, the senior, the best player on the team. They're going to lose her, okay? So you don't fill, you know, the void of a player of her caliber with just one player. It's got to be multiple girls stepping up next season. But the cupboard is certainly full.
Well, my guess is 35, Tiana Watkins will be the leader the next 2 years here. And will be someone that will come back in 2 years saying, oh, she's Pac-12 bound or Big 12 bound.
I agree. And Marsh, the way that Marsh and Watkins have played today, it really proven to me that they're likely going to play in college.
Craig got fouled on the way up and misfired on her first 2 free throws and has to go back to the free throw line here.
And we have not talked about Lauren Craig as much as we thought we would. I mean, her improvement over her 4 years at St. Francis has been really dramatic. I mean, her coach said that when she was younger, her balance was so terrible that it was almost a 50-50 proposition when she would go up for a rebound, whether or not she would fall down on the ground. She's improved her strength and her coordination and her durability. And there, she finally gets the free throw to go down.
Well, how about these numbers? 1,251 career points, and then could stay upright enough to grab 1,140 career rebounds. That's one heck of a, and I'll say heck because it's a girls' Catholic school.
Yep. Good for you.
Might not even be able to get away with that, but I mean, that is a tremendous career. And her senior season, 29 double-doubles in 34 games, but sitting there with only 5 points, 3 block shots. Does have 7 rebounds, though.
There she goes, steal.
Yep. Chance here at a field goal. Lets the defense go by and can't get the shot to fall.
And she had Janae Fairbrooke, number 5, on her left side. Chose not to pass it to her. That would have been an uncontested layup.
Watkins secures, cross court, drive baseline, and a foul is called on the drive by Irie Jarrett, the sophomore.
When the ball moves side to side, it's all right to not shoot it. In fact, that's actually preferable. Move the ball from one side of the court to the other. Jarrett immediately drives the gap. Good things are going to happen. You don't always have to finish at the rim, but the defense can't rotate as fast as the ball can.
Craig just picked up her 3rd personal. She'll stay out there. Leaving the floor will be Jackie Korwitz, a freshman. Talk about future leaders for teams, but Korwitz, just looking at her play early on, pretty tough, pretty aggressive, and I'd venture to guess they'll have a trip back here deep into the postseason with her play over the next 3 years.
Now she's a thumper, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
We got 5 thumpers on the team. So we talked about Brea being young and how their cupboard is full, and you know, expect to see St. Francis. There's some of the thumpers over there. Korwitz. Thumper doesn't sound very tough, though. You know?
I think of like a little rabbit, right? With a long tail.
Yeah, that's Bambi. Bambi, the rabbit. Come on. Thumper from Bambi.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying Bambi was a rabbit. I was like,
no, come on, man. All right, here we go. Back to the game.
He was reduced to the size of a rabbit when he was stepped on by Godzilla in that one cartoon. 57.8 to go. In the 3rd here, St. Francis well represented with that section of students. You look around, you don't see a lot of Braille Linda Green coming up from Orange County. Brea's a public school in North Orange County. St. Francis, the private all-girls school from just down the street here in Sacramento by Sacramento State University, which, by the way, hosted and did a nice job this year at Hornet Stadium, the CIF football championships. And the basketball championships are moving to downtown Sacramento for the next 2 years. That announcement was made earlier today. They'll go to the new Golden One Center, the new home.
I didn't hear about that.
Yep, of the Sacramento Kings in 17-18. So last year here at Sleep Trent Arena. They're even, I believe, next year going to host an NCAA regional as well. So those facilities management folks are going to be really busy here trying to navigate the NBA, the NCAA, and 12 state high school championship games.
Like air traffic control, man. These multi-purpose arenas, and people can't get enough of sports in our country. I'm one of those. I want to watch as much football and baseball and basketball and even lacrosse. How big is lacrosse now in high school? I didn't even heard of that sport when I was in high school. Now everybody has a lacrosse team.
I've sunk a lot of money into that sport. There's a steal by Janae Fairbrook. And with 25.5 to go, tied up, possession arrow is pointing towards St. Francis, so they're going to get a chance to keep it here.
Fairbrook having a really hard time. He hasn't made a basket. There you go. See, Kira, you see the emotion? Well, that's a frustrated basket right there. They're trying desperately to do anything they can to get their student section, who didn't travel very far, but they're here, the zoo. Watch the replay here. On the arm, the contact, and see the emotion. Anything going right.
Chrislyn Marsh picked up the personal foul. Completing the three-point play is Huffman. And Kira is sitting there with 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting. Final seconds of this third quarter. Oh, they didn't call it. Refs following the whistle. Here's a drive. Janae Fuamatu, and then gets it off to Chrislyn Marsh, and the sophomore scores.
Bad no call there.
And that is the end of the third quarter of play. Brea Olinda as a team averages 62 points per game. And they should get there and surpass that here. We still have 8 minutes to go, but the Wildcats 8 minutes away from their 10th state championship in school history. Back for the 4th after this.